This is a production of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, at the forefront of sustainable energy.
Our landfills locally are in big trouble. And I think the way we treat our environment kind of goes into other realms of life. It's how we treat each other, it's how we treat our animals. The big picture really is, how do we reduce what we are depositing into our landfills? And let me tell you something, picking one item to separate out of your garbage is a small step to change. My passion for recycling started from early. Then a tree hugger, always a tree hugger. I think key is love of country. So Every Bottle Back is a company that launched in May 2022. In terms of main term recycling, we recycle PET type 1 plastics and HDPE, which is type 2 plastics. We've also added a Tetra Pak. Quietly take aluminum cans as well. Beverage aluminum cans to be specific. What we do is we take old plastics and create new plastics out of them. The uniqueness, or I think the USP for Every Bottle Back, is definitely the first incentivization program for plastics in the country. That incentivization is a big deal because it moves people that wouldn't normally be moved otherwise. So one of the first major steps when one deposits is, of course, the weighing system, which is a major step that we have to take because this has to be completely accurate for their account. And this way we get the kilogram count, and then there's a value attached to that. So you have a running tab on your bank account via your phone. Everything is digitized, and people have jumped on that. They love it. They love it. And then from that, once we have you weighed out and the value of that weight ready to go, we SMS or WhatsApp you with that information. What we find a lot of people doing is they use it as a sort of savings account, especially leading up to Christmas. And of course, with the incentive program, we specifically reward for those two types, PET and HDPE. Whereas anything else that they bring into us would be a donation. It's kind of an exciting time because we take the old plastics, we get them over to Latin America, that turns those into pellets, and then from the pellets they turn into new resins, and those new resins turn into new plastics. It means that we don't need any new materials to create those plastics. We do hope to expand quickly via an entrepreneur program. A lot of people have been super excited to turn this thing into a business, and it's actually helping families, it's helping neighborhoods and communities. And that's one of the things we're most excited about, seeing this happen naturally, people turning into entrepreneurs, unemployment rates hopefully starting to decrease. Once we attend exhibitions or marathons and these kinds of things, there's an educational component attached to that. Every school that we're in, we're starting with 65 schools in Port of Spain with instructional pieces on how to recycle, the value of recycling, the benefits of recycling. Our future looks very exciting. We're in an era where green business is a place to be. What we have laid out is a 3 to 5 year plan where we hope to include a recycling plant in the country, which would mean that we no longer need to export. Of course, in the overall grand scheme of things, reducing single-use plastic is of course a goal nationally and globally. But in the meantime, there's a transition period where we have to take what we do use and get it out of our rivers and coastlines and streets. I think one thing I'd want to add is to ask the population to be patient with us. A lot of people are like, how could you not be in Tobago? What, you're not in Mayaro? We're getting there. Just hang in there and we'll be able to get to you sooner rather than later. The big picture really is, how do we reduce what we are depositing into our landfills? And let me tell you something, picking one item to separate out of your garbage is an amazing start. You can decide if you're collecting just PET plastic bottles, you're making sure you're not depositing that into the garbage and it's not going to the landfill. Sometimes you want people to take very small steps to be able to feel their way. So I always use that as an example of a small step to change. Just start with one item and then grow from there.
This is a production of the National Gas Company of Trinidad and Tobago Limited, at the forefront of sustainable energy.